You hear it all the time, right? Just bring your authentic self to work. But what if that's actually terrible advice? What if it's a career trap? Today, we're going to dive into a totally different way of thinking, a professional operating system, inspired by, of all people, Secret Service agents. So, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to unpack this whole authenticity trap. Then, we'll explore the Secret Service mindset as a powerful alternative. From there, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, rewiring your psychology, mastering your presence, and finally, putting it all together to activate your brand new professional OS.
All right, let's get right into it. Section 1. What exactly is this authenticity trap? I mean, this phrase is everywhere. LinkedIn posts, company mission statements, you name it. We're constantly told that being vulnerable is the key, that it's a superpower. But is it always the right move? The argument we're exploring is that this idea might be a really dangerous misconception.
And here is the trap. Right here. This whole push for authenticity makes us focus inward on our feelings, our need for expression. But our job isn't about self-expression. It's about being effective. It's about creating value for the team, for the mission. We're kind of confusing the office with a therapy couch. Okay, so if being authentic is the trap, what's the escape hatch? Well, let's look at a pretty fascinating source for a new mindset: elite professionals. Specifically, Secret Service agents. This really breaks down the two opposing ideas. You've got the authentic self, which is all about me, my feelings, my vulnerability. But then you have the effective self, and that focus is totally external. It's on the mission, on making good decisions, and on taking disciplined action. It is a game-changing shift in perspective. So this is what we're trying to build: a professional operating system. And look, this is not about being a robot or being fake, not at all. It's about building a version of yourself that is disciplined, focused, and just optimized to make the right call when things get tough. All right, so theory is great, but how do we actually do this? How do we build this operating system? Well, it has to start on the inside, with our own psychology. You know, most of us have this completely backwards. We think we need to feel confident before we can do something scary. But elite performers know that's not how it works. Confidence isn't something you start with. It's something you earn. You take the action first, and the confidence follows. And here's exactly how you do it. Let's say you're terrified of public speaking. You don't just wait to magically feel ready to give a huge keynote. No way. You start with embarrassingly small steps. You present to your little team of 8. You nail that. Then you move up to the all hands, then a local meetup. Every single step builds real, actual competence. And it's that competence that creates unshakable confidence. Action first, feeling second. Now, this brings us to something called the 51% rule. Think about it. When do you ever have 100% certainty before making a big decision? Basically never. If you wait for that, you'll be frozen forever. An effective professional knows they just need to be, say, 51% sure. They make the best call they can with the info they have, and then they adjust on the fly. This one is so important. Look at the difference here. On the left, you've got, I think, I feel. That's so easy to argue with. Someone else can just say, well, I feel differently. But the statement on the right, it's based on hard data. 47 customers said this. It's objective. It's strong. It's almost impossible to refute. Okay, let's talk about emotional control. There's this great concept called the governor. It's that ability to create a tiny bit of space between something happening, like a nasty email, and how you respond to it. Reacting on impulse, that's weakness. Responding thoughtfully, now that's power. So here's the playbook for that moment of pause. It's a simple formula. First, you acknowledge their feeling. I can see you're frustrated. You're not agreeing, just acknowledging. Second, you state the facts of the situation calmly. And third, you propose the next step toward a solution. This little recipe de-escalates everything and keeps you in control. So we've done the internal work. Now let's move to the external signals we're sending. Section 4 is all about mastering your professional presence. Your body is communicating way before you ever say a word. Just look at this transformation. The before is the invisible person, slouched, staring at a laptop, basically trying to disappear. The after is what we call sovereign, upright, engaged, head on a swivel, taking up space. These aren't just little tweaks. They are huge signals of confidence and authority. I love this concept of a contribution score. We've all been in that meeting with someone who talks just to hear their own voice. They're actually hurting themselves. They're lowering their score. Strategic silence is a weapon. It makes your words land with so much more weight when you do decide to speak.
So when should you speak? Try this simple rule. Aim for 3 high-value contributions per meeting, max. And before you talk, ask yourself, do I have critical info no one else has? Am I driving a decision, or am I asking a clarifying question? If the answer is no, it's probably best to just listen.
Okay, we've tackled the inner psychology and the outer presence. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about how to officially activate your new professional operating system. These are really the commandments. Think of this as your cheat sheet. Number 1, action builds competence. 2, discipline will always beat motivation. 3, your presence speaks first. 4, facts win arguments, not feelings. And 5, be responsive, not reactive. If you master these, you're golden. And let's be absolutely crystal clear on this point. The goal is not to erase your personality or become some cold, unfeeling robot. The goal is to be effective. It's about separating who you are personally from the professional you need to be to get the job done at the highest level. So, when you take all these ideas, all these tactics, it all really boils down to one final powerful question. That's it. That's the answer. The most important, complex, and high-stakes product you will ever manage is your own professional operating system. Treat it with the focus and the discipline it deserves.